Welcome to Tassie's Football Fix for another week. I'm Damien Gill from FFT, and as always, I'm joined by Alex Luttrell from the Mercury to talk through a very big week in football. Well, Alex, I'm a little flat, and I'm sure you're the same. Last night, South Hobart went down in the FFA Cup, but that was a huge clash for Tasmanian football.
Yeah, mate, it was fantastic scenes. 1,400 odd people turning up to see that. Absolutely unbelievable result. Obviously, South going down 5-4 on penalties after 1-1 at full time. Hard to take a little bit for Tassie, but a great spectacle, and hopefully they'll be back next year.
Absolutely. We'll get to that one a little bit later, but the first game of round 17, first of all, saw Canberra Lions get back on the winners list. The first one for Colin Robbins as coach. They beat the Knights.
Yeah, 4-2 they won. KG5, it surprised me. I thought that Glenorchy would win that one, but good result for Colin Robbins. Nick Cuthbertson getting a brace, apparently. A couple of pretty good goals for him, the defender, the big stalk. Also, Danny Cohen and Adam Hedge getting on the score sheet for them. But Minonia Canberra actually scored first for the Knights before the Lions put on a bit of a show, netting 4 goals before Nick DeFalco scored a late consolation for Glenorchy.
Yeah, good win for Canberra, and I love the work of the big Storkel. Usually, when I saw his name on the score sheet, I thought a couple of headers for sure, but they're actually very, very nice finishes from the centre-back. Next game of the round saw South Hobart come from behind against Northern Rangers to win that one 4-1.
Yeah, good result for South Hobart, obviously keeping up the 6-point gap they have over the Tilford Zebras on top of the Victory League ladder. Todd Hingston actually netted first, though, the Rangers captain in the 9th minute before Benny Hamlet and Braden Mann scored twice before half-time to make it 2-1. That set the tone for the rest of the match, Gilly. I really do think that. Andy Brennan then got a brace in the second half to really round out resounding winners for South Hobart.
Absolutely. It really was the Andy Brennan show. It was 2 goals and at least 1 assist. He was just exceptional in that game and was key in getting them the 3 points.
Yeah, he was probably man of the match.
Yeah, would have thought so. Devonport up at Mitsubishi Park just pipped Lonnie City, who are definitely showing signs of improvement, ladders.
Yeah, mate, they were a bit of a tight game between the pair. 3-2, Devonport ran out winners in the end. Goals from Callan Moore, Zach Mitchell and Dallas Baldock got them over the line, but it wasn't without a few scares from Launceston, who are really showing a bit of form, mate.
Yeah, good to see from Kurt Reynolds and the boys up at Mitsubishi Park. The last game of round 17 saw Tilford Zebras take the points in a battle of the traditional rivals in what was really a game of 2 halves, ladders.
Yeah, you could say that, mate. Zebras probably dominated the first half, I'd have to think. Kurt Engels and Adam McEwen netting a goal each inside 17 minutes before Warren Wadawu netted a bizarre goal. It was more of a cross that ended up going in over keeper Matty Ferguson's head to make it 2-1. Ethan Ingles then restored the 2-goal buffer for the Zebras into half-time. So 3-1 they were up, and then Hector Morera, Olympia's New Mexican recruit on debut. He was meant to start this week, actually, so a bit of an omen there. He got sent off on the hour mark for holding up play, a second yellow card, so lack of discipline perhaps. But with 10 men, the Warriors sort of rose a little bit, mate, and Emmanuel Sekiris netted Olympia's second to make for a few nervy moments for the Zebras before Ben Whitehall again restored the 2-goal buffer as they ran out 4-2 winners in the end, the Zebras.
Yeah, Zebras a good win for them, and now they pretty well have second to themselves.
Yeah, you'd have to think outright second. They'll go into the Victory Cup most likely in that position. It looks like the premiership is all but wrapped up for South. I'd have to say I can't see anyone taking it off them.
Yeah, but Zebras are weighing the wings if they do slip up.
Yeah.
On to the Westfield FFA Cup round of 32 clash we talked about a little bit earlier, ladders. It was a huge game, a packed KG5 football park with about 1,500 people packing in. They saw a magnificent spectacle. They got their money's worth, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It was a fantastic opening half. South had better of the ball in the first half, a more territorial advantage, a lot of possession. Tuggeranong, though, a lot of chances they had in the first half. They matched South on that front. I think there was only 2 shots on target for each side in the first half, though, so it's a bit of a cagey, at times scrappy affair. No goals, 0-0 at the break, before the deadlock was finally broken in the 69th minute when Hugh Undy sent in a low cross that was bundled in by Sean Kitty. Unfortunately for him, he was one of their standouts, the fullback for Tuggeranong. Bundled into the top corner, and it sent the crowd into raptures. We could hear it from the press box, mate. It was fantastic to hear all 1,500 odd people cheering for that. And then thought we had it wrapped up. And then the 85th minute, Kitty sent in a long throw, and it was bundled in the end by Zach Munster, who manages to rise up above all the South Hobart defenders and put it past Mark Monker, the standing goalkeeper, as it went into penalties, mate.
Yeah, so it went into extra time after that after a real pulsating 90 minutes. Couldn't be split, went to penalties, and you had to favour Tuggeranong, whose keeper, Shepherd, had an absolute blindering goal.
Yeah, he was fantastic all night, mate. Keeping him in it throughout the 90 minutes, 120 minutes even. There were a few chances for South and Tuggeranong in the extra time, the half hour of extra time. South, it was 4-4 on penalties. Each side missed one each. Hugh Undy skied his, whereas little young Ethan Munster hit the crossbar for Tuggeranong. And then poor Caleb Ludlow had his penalty saved by Shepherd. His last penalty, the sixth one, for South Hobart, before Harry Petit netted truly down the bottom left to send Tuggeranong into raptures, mate.
Tuggeranong into the round of 16, and unfortunately for South Hobart, that's it for this year for the Westfield FFA Cup. But they do have Victory League to look forward to. We'll look into the next round, Ludders, which they are involved in. It all starts at 2 p.m. on Saturday. Game of the round, Tilford Zebras host Northern Rangers.
Yeah, good game, mate. Second versus fourth. The Victory Cup spots are pretty much all but sealed at the moment, though. So more or less bragging rights, getting some good form going into the Victory Cup in September. I reckon Zebras will win this one comfortably.
Zebras for me, I think probably 3-1. I think it'll be quite tight. Next game of the round is 4 p.m. Devonport return home to host Glenorchy Knights.
Yeah, Devonport probably strong favourites for this one up at Valley Road. It's going to be a very tough game for Glenorchy, but they also play a tough brand of football. They are known for that, but I think Devonport will win this one, probably 3-1.
Yeah, Devonport for me, it's a tough road trip up at Valley Road, and I just think they'll get the points. And Glenorchy Knights, I think they'll deliver a bit of a response, but it's very, very tough to take points away from Valley Road.
Yep.
Next game on Saturday sees Olympia FC Warriors host Launceston City at Warrior Park.
This one could get a little bit ugly, mate. I think that Olympia will win it strongly, not without maybe a few challenges at times from Launceston, but without Mark Christie, who was the man who instigated a lot of the challenges against Olympia at Warrior Park last time they met there. Without him, obviously out for the season, I think that Olympia will win this one, probably 4-0.
Yeah, Olympia, of course, missing a few midfielders. Herrera, who was red card last week. Nichols, who's still out from the red card the week before.
Yeah.
So the midfield's a little bit weakened. I think Lonnie City will go close, but they won't quite get the job done. Picking Olympia by 2 or 3. Last game of the round, see South Hobart. Well, they'll look to bounce back after last night's disappointment. They play Kingborough Lions down at the Lions' Den.
Yeah, no doubt Ken Morton will be rallying his lads to get the win here, get a good mentality going into the Victory Cup, and obviously if they can win the premiership, the NPL final series as well, which is huge. So I reckon they'll win the next 4 of their games, including this one, very comfortably.
Yeah, I think they'll be looking for a huge response, and I think this could get ugly, almost double digits. I think they're ready for a big one, Ludders, off the back of last night. That's all we've got time for this week on Tassie Football Fix. Please join us again next week for all the action out of round 18.